Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. Today I want to talk about the 5th spring practice. They were in full pads today. Some observations in particular with the offense. I will get into that. Some things I've noticed, not just today, but just throughout these first 5 practices. And also we were able to talk to 4 assistant coaches again today, which was great. Got some good perspective. These guys were on the defensive side of the ball. Starts with the defensive line, Joe Salavea, Rod Wright, Charlie Strong, and Jamal Adai with the defensive backs. So it was good to get their perspective on things. And I definitely want to point out real quickly that it is great seeing these Hall of Fame players at Miami helping out the team, in particular with Jason Taylor. You guys saw the video I did. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out that defensive line video that I already posted on the channel. And it shows Jason Taylor working with defensive ends, Cyrus Moss in particular, and Jafari Harvey. I thought it was good that he spent a lot of time working with just those 2 guys. And you don't often see, sometimes obviously you see defensive tackles get separated from defensive ends in practice, working on different drills in that sense. But I've not seen defensive ends get split up. So it was good Taylor working with those guys, giving them a lot of skills and just a lot of instruction, while Rod Wright was really working with these other guys in Chance Williams and also Thomas Davis in a different group. And I thought that was interesting, just that they had the defensive ends split up a little bit there. But great seeing Coach Taylor out here giving a lot of instruction to these guys. And then today at practice, Ed Reed was out here giving instruction to the safeties. We've seen him obviously at times, throughout since he's been at UM, in this consulting role. He's still involved. And he's also just highly involved with the defensive backs, particularly with James Williams. I'm always noticing that interaction because, obviously James has a lot of intrigue and upside, and Coach Adai talked about that. And one thing Coach Adai talked about with James and Avante, 2 young guys with a lot of talent, but they sometimes get a little too hard on themselves. They really want to be great players, which was good to see. And they're also taken to coaching. So he's just really working with those guys. He's excited about their upside. And, that's just, something that they're working with there. Staying with those 2 safeties with Avante. He had an interception today on 11-on-11 action. We were able to watch it becomes about 45 minutes where we're able to film maybe about 30 or so. And then we're able to watch a couple more sessions later in practice, that 11-on-11 stuff. We're not able to film that. That's why you've only seen pretty much just the drill work. Sometimes we get the, offensive players versus defensive players, but Avante made a good interception on Tyler Van Dyke going down the field. Tyler thought he had one-on-one coverage down the sideline with the wide receiver and the cornerback, but Avante was peeking in, and this is what Avante does best. He does a good job of reading the quarterback and then going up and really, tracking the ball. Came down with the interception. Poor throw by Tyler. Kind of poor decision not to read Avante. It's a good play. It was good to see the defense step up. However, the offense had a really good day out there, making a lot of plays on 11-on-11 action. Tyler Van Dyke, mostly good, except for that interception. In particular, there were 2 throws I want to point out that he made today that stood out to me. I've talked a little bit about some of the rollout stuff we've been seeing, and he made a really good throw to Elijah Arroyo. And, Arroyo's in there on the first team. Will Mallory is going to be out the rest of the spring with an injury, shoulder injury. He suffered that in practice number 4. So Elijah gets to have a lot of first team reps. And Elijah made a good catch about 15-20 yards on the sideline. Tyler made a good throw, where only Elijah could either get it or it was going to go out of bounds. And I feel like that's going to be an important throw for Tyler to make, 3 yards from the sideline. Either keep it in bounds, definitely don't let defensive back be able to get his hands on the ball, tip it up for an interception, or have it be an incomplete pass going out of bounds. So that'll be some things I'll be watching for as Tyler continues to progress in that throw. I've seen him make that throw already in practice, but it was good to see that again today. So that was one good throw that stood out to me there. Number 2, and this goes with the big offensive theme that I've seen, and I want to get into that, but first I want to touch on this throw. But there was a play where it looked like a cornerback blitz, and Tyler did a good job picking that up and throwing it right to the open receiver where the cornerback left, and he just, was able to pick up good yardage there, probably about a 15-yard gain there. It looked like to Keyshawn Smith. So he's finding wide receiver Keyshawn Smith and tight end Elijah Arroyo, kind of spreading the ball around there. So let's get into some offensive stuff. Some throws and some formation stuff that I'm seeing without divulging too much information on exactly what they're doing. But when you hear the term speed and space by Josh Gaddis's offense, you know, one of the things that it's not just get guys in open space and let them run, right? Like they definitely want to do that. They're getting the ball to the running backs in the passing game. There's no question that they want to get the ball to those guys. Also short passes to the wide receivers. However, with this speed and space stuff that I'm seeing, they are doing a really good job of either instructing or route development, but they are getting wide receivers the heck out of the play, right? They are getting them, you know, you either go downfield to make a catch, you either beat your guy, or you just open up a bunch of space. And I feel like with Miami's speed at wide receiver, not only can they stretch the field and catch passes downfield, but their speed, and it's going to be important for them to always run those routes hard. You know, sometimes wide receivers struggle with that at times if they don't think they're gonna get the ball, or if the play's designed for somebody else, not just it's just receivers in general. However, wide receivers need to use their speed, get upfield in a route, create space underneath, whether it's the tight ends or some crossing route stuff, or, you know, even getting the running backs more involved. But the speed and space doesn't just pertain to getting guys in open space and letting them run, but I think it has to do with also create a lot of space with the speed for your teammates to be able to get the ball and move downfield. So that's some things that I've kind of noticed with the offense a little bit. We saw it a lot today. I thought the offense looked good. I touched on the interception there, but overall, Tyler was doing a good job throwing the ball downfield. Jacoby George is a guy that's been stepping up with Keyshawn Smith, primarily as that number one grouping at wide receiver, and Jacoby made some nice catches today. So getting the ball downfield. A wide receiver that I haven't talked about a lot, that maybe you guys are curious about, it's Frank Ladson. Ladson transferred over from Clemson. He made a really nice play on about a 15-yard catch on the sideline in traffic in terms of contested catch with DJ Ivey guarding him. You know, these guys played together when they were younger at high school together there at South Dade. You know, but Frank made a good catch there, and I thought that was a good play, you know, that Frank made, that contested catch, because we know about his speed downfield, that he can get the ball, you know, downfield. But, you know, those contested catches, it's always big for a bigger wide receiver to be able to do that. So a good catch there by Frank. Jumping back to tight ends with Elijah, you know, in the tight ends in general, I'll have a video on the tight ends from today's practice, drills, catching the ball, and also blocking, not just some technique stuff, but also going against some defensive linemen. Now, you guys have probably seen some tight end stuff already in the videos, but I focused more on that today. So I'll have, you know, a full video on the tight ends, maybe some running back stuff depending on, you know, when I go back through and see how much I got. But Elijah Arroyo, not just that sideline catch that I touched on earlier, but he made a really good catch, you know, about a 50 yard touchdown catch, got behind the defense lost track of him, and he was able to just catch a pass and kind of trot in for the final 10 yards. But it's just good that a guy like this is making plays. Like I said, the first week I thought he had maybe some issues with some drops a little bit, but he's definitely turned the corner, and it's going to be a very important spring for him with Will out. So definitely keep your eye on Elijah. And Jaleel Skinner has certainly come around too. And one thing I like that, you know, I touched on some of the speed and space stuff that they're doing with the tight ends, but also they're moving them around a little bit. And just kind of flip into the defensive side of the ball a little bit with all four defensive coaches, these four defensive coaches talking today. You know, just a general theme. They really talked a lot about the intelligence of the players and buying in. And it doesn't surprise me. Look, if you come to Miami, you want to be successful, and also you want to have a future after college, and you want to keep, you know, you want to be a good player. That's kind of what this program is trying, has always done, you know, groom players for the next level. So I think that a lot of these guys want to be great. They want to win games. They're not coming here to kind of have some of the success issues that they've had as a team in recent years. They want to win games, and I think that they understand the coaching staff around them. There's a lot of guys. It's not just Mario Cristobal with his, you know, resume. A lot of these coaches have good resumes, and I think a lot of the players understand that, and they just want to be coached. And I think that was my takeaway from hearing the coaches talk today, that these are intelligent players, not just athletic, not just fast, but that they're intelligent. They're taking, you know, classroom work that in the meetings, trying to translate that to the field. And in particular, a guy like freshman Cyrus Moss, you know, Rod Wright talked a lot about that with Cyrus, a young guy, sometimes a talented young guy. You know, it takes some time to learn that skill. But Coach touched on Cyrus is doing a really good job of that already early in his career. So that's good to hear. Good to hear about young players. Wesley Bassane also coming around well also. So it's just good that these young guys are doing well, taking the coaching, but it seems like upperclassmen as well. And kind of before I wrap this up, James Williams is one of these guys, and Tyreek Stevenson as well. Two guys that are watching a lot of film, that the coaches are don't have to ask them to watch more film or to learn more about the game. They're trying to do as much as they can to learn on their own, and sometimes the coaches kind of joke that they kind of have to run them out a little bit because they're working on some other stuff. But just two guys in particular that stood out to me that the coaches mentioned that putting a lot of extra time in, so that's good to hear. But that's gonna wrap everything up. I always forget a few things on these videos. I try to give you guys as much information, but I always forget stuff. But definitely, that's why you gotta check out the website, InsideTheU.com, for VIP information, more insight there. And also, stay tuned to the channel because I'm gonna post a drill video on the tight ends, hopefully running backs as well. And we'll just keep this thing moving. Day 5 is in the books, still 10 practices left. I wanna thank everybody for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Hopefully have a good rest of the day, and take care.